Hello one and all, and welcome back after an extended break to Vampire the Masquerade Independence. Tonight's scene we open up on what is perhaps a familiar sight to Chell and Crimson, to Everly and Crimson at the moment, and that is the muppeted form of Chell grumbling probably in the downstairs area in the hearth, because she can't entirely staff the shop at the moment looking like this, and she can't entirely go outside, which basically restricts her to the back rooms pretty much. Fortunately, though, the saviour seems to have arrived in the shape of a giant, fluffy ginger cat dropping off a wax-sealed scroll with a little ribbon tied around it on the front counter of the shop, much to the rather large gentleman who watches the back doors. Disbelief, perhaps, as it kind of looks at him and huffs about. Something about being a messenger all the time before dropping down off the counter and seeing himself out. Frank's probably never seen Vizzy before, just doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah, he's more or less confused by all this. Just gave the cat a kind of a awkward stare for a bit, blinked, and it looked like he's gonna start to question it, but then just decided to just let it go.
He has at this time probably seen much worse. But after all that's happened, the wax-sealed scroll seems to have an elaborately handwritten name, one on each side of the wax seal that's found in the very centre of the actual scroll's length. On one side it says Crimson, and on the other side it says Everly. So, what are people up to at this point of the night? It is late in the evening. It's barely even night yet. The sun only fell perhaps an hour or so ago.
Eve probably has left her place and was probably just relaxing at the hearth. In fact, I'm going to say that she's probably working on some of that fluorescent paint, or the UV paint, or whatever it's called, on one of the belly dancers.
Chell's sitting in one of the corners, grumbling because fuck this situation, it did not wear off.
Well, at some point in the next, let's say, 20 minutes, there is an NPC of some sort that works there who just brings down the letter, since it apparently has Everly's name on it, and just tosses it in her direction, stating that a large cat delivered it.
He will grab the letter and go, "The fuck?" Blink. And she'll look at the person. She'll go, "Was it a kind of orange cat?"
Yep.
Busy. Fuck. She'll go to open it.
It is the letter that is on the forum.
And she'll take a moment to read over that, and after she does so, she'll be...
If you want.
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
I can read it out if you want. Or you
Go ahead, please.
Okay, so let me bring it up. Bringing it up. So the paper that it is written on seems to be some sort of vellum parchment rather than any actual paper. It looks quite old, and the pen strokes are rather intricate and delicate, let's say. Everything looks very immaculate and very, very carefully written. It says, to my dear Everly and Crimson, recently I have had the pleasure of entertaining a most important guest in the city. I believe that he will be able to assist you with your little Chell predicament you find yourself with. If you would like, I can most definitely set up a meeting between the two of you and he. For he very much wishes to meet with you, and especially Chell, and discuss this particular predicament as well as other happenings within the city before he meets with Robin. Yours most adoringly, Kaylee Fletcher, XOXOXO.
After reading that, she'll probably read it a couple times just to make sure she's read what she's read, and then she'll go and she'll look around the bar to see if she sees Crimson. Is Crimson in the bar?
Yes, he is.
Alright. He will saunter on over and she'll kind of slide the letter in front of him. Might have some help for the Muppet.
Good. What are we waiting on then?
She shrugs. I don't know. Where'd you put her?
And when asked that, he just slowly smirks wider and says, "The washing machine."
You didn't dare.
Smirk widens.
Eve goes rushing towards where those are kept. Opens the lid. Do I see a Chell?
David, did he really put her in there?
I was leaving that up to you.
You probably see little Muppet hands like clawing to get out.
Eve will reach inside, pull Chell out very carefully.
Well, on the right side, I feel really clean. On the downside, I'm definitely getting fucking revenge for this.
Yeah, you can kill the set tight later. Come on, we're going to see Kaylee.
Killing would be too easy.
Found somebody who can help you.
So raise a Muppet brow at that. Oh, really?
Yeah, sure. Come on. She'll carry her off towards Crimson.
And upon seeing Crimson, she's just gonna look over and say, I hate you.
At this point, Eve's gonna text Lucas and ask him if he'd like to come check out the Muppet situation with them at Kaylee's shop.
Lucas will reply back with, "Oh, well, of course, I haven't seen Little Muppets for a while, so should be a lot of fun, right?"
Obviously, she texts back. So, with that, I'm guessing Eve will lead the way to Kaylee's.
After putting Chell in a bag.
Yeah, probably stuffing Chell into a backpack and making Crimson carry it.
Well, Kaylee's shop is pretty much exactly as everyone remembers it. There's the nice brightly lit windows with the big bushy-haired cat sat in it, revealing an interior that's full of junk and an ensemble of random knickknacks and artifacts, that sort of thing.
Eve will head inside and look around. Did she see Kaylee in the front?
She can indeed. Kaylee is pacing slowly back and forth from one side of the shop to the other, one arm wrapped around her waist, the other sort of idly tapping a finger against her chin as she slowly paces upon the wooden floors. She's not wearing her standard, rather comfy-looking sweater and long skirts, that sort of thing. Rather, she's wearing something a little more courtly. It's almost looks like a kind of a power suit dress. Her hair's neatly pulled back and almost combed, and although it is styled in such a way that it does hide the tips of her ears.
I think Eve's gonna have to do a self-control roll because Torador weakness. One success.
It's enough. But holy crap, does she look hot in that business suit.
Yeah. Eve's just gonna stop and stare for a little while before stepping forward and finally speaking up after a moment. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you're here.
Yeah, I got your note.
Yes. Good show. For a moment, there's a slight crack in Kaylee's exterior visage before she brings up the wonderful, smiling, happy face again. I'm glad you could all make it. Do you have the problem in hand?
Yeah, she's in the bag. And she motioned to what's on Crimson's back.
And upon hearing that, Shell's probably gonna start messing with the zippers on the inside and kind of poke her head out.
Ah, good. I take it you're here to see my guest, then, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Better not be one of those Muppets again.
It's about this time Lucas would be seen entering the shop.
Lucas, roll self-control.
I know.
Also for nightmares.
Yep.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Matt, this is my role for perception empathy when Kaylee's face broke. I was just getting my sheet up.
Okay, I'm going to do a charisma and performance roll to counter.
Mm-hmm. I should have activated my aspects.
6 successes.
Yeah.
Darn it, kitten.
Okay, well, I passed my self-control on seeing Kaylee. Now for the nightmare roll. Oh, joy. Oh, come on, load. Okay, oh no. Okay. Whew. Oh, that was a close one.
Okay, dokes. So, Kaylee offers a warm smile and motions back towards where the stairs up into her apartment would be. Please, I will warn you, I would request that everyone be on your most politest behaviour. And she gives a slightly pointed glance down at Chell.
She's gonna look over at Kaylee. I'll try to promise what I can, but maybe it'd be best if I just stuck into the bag. Fine, I promise.
Thank you very much. Now, do come this way. And she turns, moving to walk back towards the stairs.
And he will motion everybody to follow, and she'll take a hold of Crimson's hand as they walk up the stairs.
The walk up the stairs is as it normally is, that Crimson and Eve would remember. But at the top, when she opens the door, rather than seeing the small blanket fort that would normally be made there, it actually seems to open out onto a vast, expansive, almost castle keep-like great hall with a large dais at one end, and upon that there was a mighty chair crowned in gold and surrounded by jewels. And upon that chair there sat the figure of a man just sort of reclining with a book in one hand. One of his legs hanging over the edge of the seat, wearing what looks like a rather nice and expensive business suit. Kaylee bows slightly and steps to one side as she enters. My lord, I present to you the Lady Everly, Sir Lucas Cobb, Sir Crimson, and Milady Chell de Simon. Kitten, if you want to perception empathy at Kaylee again, I highly advise it.
I'm gonna turn on my Auspex 1.
Can I have perception empathy too?
Fire away.
Also gonna activate Auspex 1.
Nope.
Yes.
Not today.
Oh, god damn it! I see nothing.
Oh, Jesus Christ, kid.
Yeah, as long as my specialty counts. Character profiling.
It does indeed. Kaylee's also comes into account. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What do you have?
7.
Lucas sees nothing.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So Defender wins, it's you.
Yeah, but you do realise that there's something slightly off about Kaylee's courtly behaviour. It's not like you've ever seen it around your mother, where she's kind of been more assuming and authoritative. Here she seems as though she's kind of lessening her own presence, as it were. However, I will also ask for self-control rolls from Lucas and Everly again.
Mm-hmm.
Just barely. Oh!
Oh, I failed. Actually, that's botched. I botched.
Kitten,
Dave, what happened? Oh, go ahead.
when you see the man upon the dais, upon the chair upon the dais, you feel just inclined to stand there and just take in the absolute awe and majesty that he just seems to exude. It's not even that you're just like incredibly attracted to him. It's more the fact that he just seems to radiate a power and an aura that just makes you kind of stand in complete awe of just how awesome he is, to use the actual definition of the word, where he just seems to inspire both a mighty fear at how terrifyingly spectacular he is. Well then, are these your little friends from the city then, Kaylee? I must admit I was expecting something rather different. He closes his book and moves to slowly stand, placing the book down upon the chair behind him. Do come forward now, let me get a good look at you.
Probably about this time, Shell actually gets out of the backpack and starts approaching by the side of everyone else.
I'm pretty sure Eve can't approach, so she's just standing there looking stupid.
I'm going to roll to see if I can identify that accent, taking a +1 to the difficulty because I don't have academics.
Okay.
Can I make a roll too?
And I think I'll spend a willpower point on this for an automatic success because I feel like I might botch if I don't. And while I'm doing this, Crimson's gonna take his hat off and kind of put it over Eve's face, kind of playfully. You know, the way you might put a hat on a hat rack. And
Thus breaking eye contact.
just gonna say, and well, I'll determine what he says after I make my roll.
I have 2 language merits. Would Turkish or Italian help her understand what kind of accent this could be?
Nope.
Alright, I'm going to be making intelligence
Success.
academic.
Okay, from what you can tell, it seems to be some sort of older style of South Wales accent.
Just said before he's gonna say, "Welcome to Texas. You're from Wales?"
How perceptive of you. It's not like I try and hide it now, is it? I didn't come in riding a dragon, you know.
That would have been an awe-inspiring sight, though.
Well, you see, I had to leave him in the garage because he has to get his MOT done. Oh, sorry now. College, what do they actually call it over here? At that, Kaylee pipes up and says, I believe they call it an auto shop, my lord. That's right, an auto shop.
Chell's kind of giving a confused look in between the 2 of them.
Eve's laughing. She's still got the hat over her eyes because she knows she can't look at this dude. But what he's saying is amusing her.
Now then, I've heard you boys have a little bit of a mage problem in this city.
Something to that extent.
Yes, indeed. Now Kolach has told me all about this little mage problem of yours, and I think that as I've had a little bit of experience with the mages, that I can probably help you out here.
It would be most appreciated. After all, we can't have our hound being a Muppet forever.
As adorable as she is, I can understand that.
Especially when certain people decide that the one way to wash me is a washing machine. And she's borderline looking over at Crimson at the statement.
And despite that, he's not actually laughing. Didn't smirk or anything. Just reaches up and very pulls off his shades and he looks through them through the light, cleans them with the bottom of his shirt and says, "And how much is that help going to cost?"
You see, we have a man of business in the house. Very well. Do come forward. Kolach, bring some chairs for us. And at that, Kaylee sort of curtsies and hurries off out of the room.
And, just gonna walk over to Eve and take her hand and kind of lead her on over with him, so she's not just standing where he left her.
He kind of has one hand out, despite him holding the other one to make sure she doesn't like knock into anything or anyone.
Is there something wrong with your friend over there?
Her kind has a thing about art. She must have seen something in here that set it off. If I don't cover her eyes, she'll just be standing there, speechless.
Ah, yes, the Great Hall. It is a far cry from the one I actually have back home in the valleys, but it will do for now. A few moments later, Kaylee comes back with a stack of chairs in hand. They're the typical ones that you generally get in schools, with the plastic with the metal legs, and she puts 4 of them down, sort of arrayed in a semicircle facing towards the dais upon which the golden chair is seated. Thank you, Carla. You are dismissed now. Kaylee just sort of gives a soft smile, bows, before walking out without another word.
Just kind of follows her with his eyes. He folds the shades up and tucks them into his jacket.
Now, please, you are my guest. Do come and sit. He motions around to the chairs before he picks the book up off his own chair and sits himself down, placing the book within his lap.
And Lucas will wait for everyone else to sit down before he takes a seat.
Chell kind of has to clamber up on one. More or less jumping just to get up on it.
He will let Crimson lead her to a chair. When he lets her know it's safe, she'll sit her butt down.
And he does lead her over to one and kind of helps position the chair just behind her legs so she can find it easier. And I'll take a seat next to her.
Now, the price that I am asking for my help in this matter isn't anyone that I'd expect you to pay out of pocket, so to speak. All I want to know is the current happenings of the city. Basically, I want to know what problems ail you, where I can help out, and what sort of things are going on in your little society that you have going on in here.
And he just goes, so you want information for help? I think that could be arranged.
I was told that information and stories here came freely.
Problem our neonates do have. Nonetheless, I'm pretty sure we can share most of the information with you in exchange for help for Chell.
Some of it's kind of common courtesy to tell anyways, especially if you are in this town.
Of course. I have a meeting with Robin shortly, and I don't really want to walk into it unprepared.
Well, then I can help as much as I can with that. And she'll kind of nudge the hat up just enough so she's not fully hiding her eyes, but she's not going to look at him either. She doesn't look stupid.
Now, you see, I came to this city to help you little fellows. I would say it was a colleague's request, but that would be a small lie now. I've been very interested in this city. It seems to be attracting a lot of supernatural attention.
And Chell kind of just looks over at Everly.
Yes, which was actually surprising, considering it's in the middle of Sabat territory. You'd think most things would be too afraid to mess around down here. The crazies out and whatnot.
But doesn't crazy attract other crazies?
Well, that certainly does explain our presence here, doesn't it? She kind of grins.
Yes, you see, I have a particular fondness for coming into a place and just helping out and seeing where I can fix things for people.
Oh, there's plenty broken in Independence.
Well, I am, as they say, all ears.
Chell, fill me in where I leave off.
I'll try as I might. Okay, out of character, would all the relevant issues be about this point or no?
Yeah.
Alright.
Well,
Even Mitch missing out of character.
oh, actually, I don't know. I'm gonna say Mitch thing. Probably not, right, Matt?
At this point, you don't know that Mitch is missing.
Okay, good.
So we know about the werewolf. Or at least partial.
Yeah. Well, honestly, one of the main concerns right now is that there seems to be some sort of serial killer. One of my friends was framed for it, but we've proven it's not her. You'll probably meet her at some point. She cleans up most of the messes. Her name is Anna. There's a mansion on the east side that we always warn people not to go to, and trust me, I've been in there. Don't ever walk in. You won't like it. There's plenty of Sabat. There's some shadowy figure moving about the city. Most of us don't know what it is. Some people claim it's a lich. She does air quotes. Rumors about wolves. Possibly a werewolf, I'm not sure. Like I said, Chell, am I leaving anything out?
Well, for one, we are referring to it as Lich because mostly when we did try to confront it, it did almost massacre us all in a big flame. We do think there's a good chance that there is a werewolf in the outskirts of town. We don't know if it's frequenting in town or not, but we do know there are signs of it on the outskirts. Let's see. Not really sure about the serial killings because that wasn't really my forte. And as for Sabat, well, I hate to say it, but it almost looks like they're too afraid to come in now. A whole warband of them was killed by the Lich.
Oh, that's right. Not to mention with your problem, there seem to be those things. There's dogs.
And there was this Muppet that referred to him as Lord Jaraxxus? Am I getting the name right?
Evil nod.
Well, supposedly he was building an army of plush dolls. You'll see Chell looks very, very, agitated to fight off these hounds that had been coming and tearing them apart. In fact, the last time we saw him, he was on fire, and they were closing in on them. It's our assumption that Lord Jaraxxus is the one to curse me into this state.
I see, I see. Well, you do have a lot going on here, don't you?
Eve nods.
It seems I picked a good time to come and offer my services to the prince. Now, a few things I would like to get a little bit more detail on. What is this you said about a lich?
One moment, and she'll pull out her phone. this has been passed around by the Harpy to all of us, but this is what appeared in the art gallery of my mother, or the prince, as you know her as. This was on her security cameras, and she'll hold it out in his general direction, push the little play button, and it'll show the lich appearing and disappearing.
Very curious. And you say he hasn't actually attacked you yet?
No. As far as I'm aware, and she'll look at Chell, I don't believe anybody's reported any actual attacks, just seeing him in places.
The Lich, or...
Yes, the lich.
Well, by my general information, he ambushed the Seneschal and Harpy. Didn't seem to actually attack them, but the Harpies reportedly said that Baker threw a tombstone at him. And then they both got the dickens out of there. They did attack us when we went to investigate the warband with what we found was a summoning circle, and the box that supposedly held the orb that we had been looking for.
Orb? What is this orb?
The sphere of Tartarus? Taurus? Something like that? Taurus.
The sphere of Tartarus. He glances away slightly, drumming his fingertips on the edge of the chair. And you tell me you found it next to a summoning circle?
We didn't find the sphere, we found the box that held it.
And this lich, this figure that's been appearing around the town, he hasn't actually made any sort of attempts against you, has he? Not directly, only when he's been cornered.
Only
Precisely.
directly when cornered, yes.
I think you might have bigger problems than a lich.
Well, by my general assumption, we also had a problem a bit previously that you're missing out on. There was the four horsemen in the later Jahannam. While we got rid of the other horsemen, the one that we left living was death, because by diplomatic means we didn't exactly want to, go against a necromancer.
Well, that's a bit ironic, isn't it? The only one that you left living was death.
I still think it is, but he was the one who really wanted that orb back. So by my general assumption, he might have been the one to summon the Lich.
Liches aren't summoned, you know. They are made, created now. Have you actually managed to find anything out about this lich?
Eve will shake her head. No, there is a Tremere working on it, though.
The only thing we found out is it killed a bunch of Sabbat.
But Tremere, those are your wizards, yes?
And she nods. Yes.
You know how that is coming along now?
No, I haven't heard from her in a few days.
You might want to see if you can get in contact with her. If she's still alive from trying to hunt down a lich, then I'm able to talk to this world.
Eve nods. I can pass along the message.
And Lucas is going to politely correct Chell and say that we assume it's the Lich. We don't precisely know. The only thing that we know of is that from an object that I was to spirit touch, I saw basically doors swung open and then a flash of pain and then nothing.
How very curious.
We did manage to take one of the bodies with us, and I believe I gave it to the friend that Everly was referring to earlier.
I think I'd very much like to see this body.
That, I'm sure, could be arranged. I'll have to give Anna a text. I'm sure she'd welcome some help.
So let me get this right. You think that there is a necromancer called Death that you let live, and he, you think, is the one that summoned this lich that you say he is?
That is our assumption.
Well, now I have a bit of experience with liches, and you generally have one of two choices if it is actually a lich. The first one is that it's some sort of risen entity from a necromancer, or maybe even this necromancer himself. The other one is they tend to serve darker powers. In either case, I think you should probably look into that one rather quickly.
Well, it'll be a bit hard to do without our hound.
Oh yes, I almost forgot. Your little mage predicament. Now, what I can tell you, since I have some experience with this sort of thing, is that the mage, if he's still alive, that is why you are currently still a little puppet. Now, you see, the spells of this magnitude tend to be tied to the actual mage themselves. So if you are still a puppet, as you seem to be, then it stands to reason that the mage himself still lives.
Look back over at Evelyn. Perfectly honest, I'm surprised it didn't burn up. A good torn apart by the hounds.
Well,
These
perhaps
hounds we call.
Drax is more great than we thought he was.
These hounds you speak of, do you know anything more about them?
No, but they come out of the shadows. They're skinless looking, ugly. They
I
don't look
beg
like
your
normal.
pardon. Could you just repeat that, please, my dear?
They're skinless, come out of the shadows. Ugly. Do you got blinks?
Oh, I think what you are dealing with here is something a lot more powerful than a mage. Or a lot more deadly, let's say. I think you might want to be dealing with this magic problem rather swiftly.
Do you have any advice on how we can deal with it? I'm afraid I'm not that experienced with magic.
If you find the mage, destroy his power source. It should end the spell, or at least make the mage vulnerable enough for you to actually kill him.
Eve nods. Is there any specific thing that is their power source? Is it a book? Staff?
It varies from mage to mage, but generally you find it that they have actually got either a hold of it, or they tend to never leave the same room as it.
Well then, Shell, if worse comes to worse, we'll burn the whole building down.
Oh dear God, not more fire. But if it comes down to it, if it's what gets me back into a form other than this, just gonna gesture down to the Muppet form, I'll gladly take most routes available.
People might notice that the light in the room has slightly risen slightly to kind of burn out any of the shadows that are actually inside there. As I said, you might want to be taking care of this one rather quickly. Those hounds are not something that you want to be trifling with. They are very, very dangerous.
What are they? Do you know?
Oh, I know. I've met them before. Tell me, have you heard of a realm called Tindalos?
Eve will shake her head no.
Lucas also shake his head. No.
Now, you see, mages, they tend to mess about with time and reality. And these hounds that you have, they tend to be the guardians of that. They tend to set things right if too much stuff like this happens, and he motions to Chell. Now, you see, they can move through time and space, but only through shadows. So as long as you stay in a brightly lit room with no sort of shadows in, then you should be fine. But the problem that you have, you see, is that you are vampires. And you tend to dwell in the night, is that correct?
Lucas nods.
Now, you see, the one thing that the night has in great abundance is shadows. So if you've attracted the attention of this mage, and the mage has been using spells in order to attract the attention of these hounds, you might find that they transfer that attention onto you.
Oh dear God.
So what's the best method of dealing with these puppies?
Well, I will probably give you the same advice that I gave the last person who dealt with these hounds. And that is to run and never look back.
Well, that's not something I can exactly do. I'm not going to leave Independence over some silly dogs.
Then we best get rid of the mage they're after.
He stands up slowly. Miss Everly, was it?
And she nods.
If there is one thing that these dogs are not, it is silly. You must never underestimate them.
And she'll nod grimly at that.
So, my advice to you would then be, if you can defeat this mage, I would do so quickly before these hounds decide that you are a better target than him. And if you do become a target, well, I don't entirely know what you might do then, except for perhaps running and hiding in a well-lit room for the rest of your life. But at least until these hounds decide that you are not a threat to reality. Now, we might be able to bring you into the dream, but I don't think that you would survive the process.
I see. Well, Chell, Crimson, Lucas. Where do we want to start our little hunt for the mage?
Probably go back to where we found him.
Yeah.
He nods. Still have, and she'll look at her gun for a moment, and she'll pat her pocket where her ammo is. I still have 4 of those bullets left, Crimson.
Also, I hate to say it, but he might make another summon eventually. I'm assuming the rest of his army was killed, and he'd probably try to get me back under his control. So there is that.
Indeed. Either way, we should go deal with this, like he said. We shouldn't be waiting. An evil stand up. Very carefully, mind you.
Do you have any other advice, sir?
Advice on what, little chap?
I guess in general, we have a lot of issues ahead. Seems like the first one's just getting rid of this mage.
Oh, I think that you need much more than just advice, little chap. That is why I'm here to offer my assistance.
I guess I appreciate that more than the advice then. Should you ever require my services when I'm not... And she's gonna gesture to herself this way. I guess feel free to call. I believe Kaylee should be able to give you my contact information.
When I feel the need to call on you then, little chap, I will send a message with caller.
Alright. And Chell's gonna go to jump back into Crimson's backpack. Now off, my steed! We must ride into glorious battle against this mage.
He face palms.
Lucas snickers and looks down.
Evil turn back to their new friend and offer a very slight curtsy. Thank you for your assistance and your advice. I do look forward to seeing more of you in the coming nights.
Of course, Miss Everly. I should be here for some time now. Although he was still looking rather incredulously at Chell.
You as well.
Lucas also get up and give him a bow.
Chell will give a bow, but she's in the backpack.
Evil grab Crimson's hand and start tugging him towards the exit.
He'll just get up and a bit of a nod and follow.
Coming back downstairs, they would see Kaylee once again pacing back and forth inside the shop, just tapping her chin rather idly.
Alright, Kaylee, we're heading out.
Ah, you're here and unharmed, I hope?
Yeah, why?
Oh, no reason. It's good to see that you're all unharmed, that's all.
Lucas will
She
arch
gives
around.
a slight glance at the stairs they came down.
Worried about your friend?
Not at all, he's here to help. My lord is ever so gracious in that regards.
I don't piss off every politician I talk to.
He's not a politician, Shell.
What position does he hold, my dear?
Position does he hold? Why, he's the Baron of Defed.
So grin a bit at that. Well, either way, statement does hold. Just not as well as I originally ordered it. Either way, he offered his assistance. We gave him the information he wanted. And right now we have to go help with one of the issues, I guess.
Of course. Well, do not let me keep you. I'm certain that whatever he suggested is the most prudent course of action.
Hopefully so. Anyway, it's good seeing you again, Kaylee, and thanks for pointing us in the right direction.
Not at all. Anyway, I can help my favorite little vampires now.
Eve smiles, a very sweet smile, and then she will tug the others along. Once they're outside and out of earshot, she's going to look to Crimson and go, "So what did you think of him?"
Kaylee actually follows everyone out and closes the door behind them.
Mm-hmm.
And she holds her hand up in the air slightly, and everything around them gets a little bit quieter. I have to warn you, be very careful with him. He's a very, very dangerous man.
So am I.
I understand this. I haven't seen you in action, but I can say that you do not wish to mess with the Lord. At least not directly.
Crimson's just gonna bit of a nod and say, take your warning. And no one that still walks the earth has ever seen me in action.
Well, let's hope that there's no flying creatures around then. And she gives a slight laugh.
Indeed. And she's going to look at Crimson for a moment and go, "You should still be cautious. He's not one of us. We don't know what he can and can't do."
I have experience with him in court. That's why I decided to give you this warning. I had no choice in him turning up, and I basically have to do everything he says. He's a lot more powerful than I am, that is for certain.
Do you mind just delivering this warning to Robin? It sounds like they're about to have a meeting.
I will attempt my best, but I cannot promise anything.
Worst comes to worst, I'll go see my mother myself.
Of course. Now, I've lingered too long here. I must go back to my lord.
Have a good night, Kaylee.
I wish you luck, my lady.
Stay safe.
And with that, she flicks a hand and everything starts to go back to the standard ambience noise level. And she gives you a soft shooing motion before returning to the inside of the shop.
He will go back to holding hands with Crimson, and she'll wander back towards the building they found Lord Jaraxxus in.
I will, however, have to cut it here because it is nearly 1 AM and we can do the action scene tomorrow. If people are around.
Alright. Dun, 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 dun.
So in closing, we cut back to the Great Hall scene just above Kaylee's shop, where we see the man himself, the Lord Baron of Defid, standing just in front of his chair when Kaylee comes back to him. There's some very interesting friends you have there, Kaylee. Yes, my lord. Very curious. Not just a little bit foolish, are they? No, my lord. What did you think of telling them about what I had in store there? My lord? I know that you thought I could not hear you, but you know that I am definitely more capable than that, don't you? My lord, I just thought that I didn't ask you to speak now, Karach. I want you gone from here. I'm giving you 5 days in order to get out of the city. So you should pack your things and just leave very quickly now. Understood? Yes, my lord. I will move post-haste. Very good, Callie. Expect you gone within the week. And that, my friends, is where we shall leave this scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And good night on another episode of Vampire the Masquerade Independence.